Did you know that about 70% of your immune system actually lives in your gut? That's crazy, right? Your immune cells, they learn what's safe and what's dangerous from your gut bacteria. So we hear about the microbiome. That is so important because it teaches your body what it needs to do next. So if your microbiome is balanced, your immune system can stay nice and calm. But if your gut is inflamed, you have leaky gut, something else going on inside, then your immune system can overreact. That's how autoimmune flares happen. Sometimes we don't feel it in the gut. I know for me, my testing showed it, but I don't have like stomach aches and things like that. And so sometimes we have to dig a little bit deeper when we have an autoimmune condition and we just can't seem to get things to tune down. So today we're going to talk about how your gut literally trains or teaches your immune system, and then how you can start teaching it to calm and relax and be at peace. So drop a comment if you've ever suspected that your gut has a mind of its own and is kind of running the show. So I'm Jen. I'm a whole food plant-based culinary coach, a health educator, and I'm someone who's helped hundreds of women with autoimmune issues to calm their immune system, to reverse their antibodies and get back into remission. We never say cure because if you go back to doing the things you did before, unfortunately, that can waken things back up. But we use food, we use new habits, new routines, and focus on rebuilding the microbiome, as well as other things too. Sometimes the liver's involved, sometimes there's underlying viruses and things like that. But the microbiome has to be in balance for your whole body to be lower in inflammation and calm and relaxed. So I remember thinking that my immune system was broken. My body was broken. If you've read my blog at holisticgen.com with a W, then you know that now I know it was just my body sending signals, waving its white flag, telling me, hey, pay attention. And so those messages come from the gut. If you've ever heard of gut instinct, I had a gut feeling, I knew in my gut. Your gut really does talk to us. And so we need to learn to pay attention and listen to what's going on there. So today I'm going to show you, I'm not really showing you, am I, how that messaging works and how to retrain your immune system to rebalance, get back into balance. So your gut is your immune system's classroom. Everything you eat, every bite of food, think about that for a minute. Every bacteria, every bit of fiber, that is giving our immune system information. That's why first we need to pay attention to what we're really eating. So my number one rule is always read the ingredients, always. Anything that comes in a box, a bag, if it has an ingredients list, you need to be reading it and see what am I putting in my body? What am I telling my gut microbes? So once that food passes through our mouth, gets to the stomach, goes into our small intestine, that's when our immune system starts asking, is this friend or foe? Do we need to send the fire trucks out, create some inflammation, create blood flow to this area to focus on healing, or can we just calm and rest and digest and let this food move along? So the bacteria in our gut are what help to answer those questions. When you have diversity, meaning you eat a wide range of foods and those right foods, not those inflammatory foods, then your microbiome can get into balance. They teach our immune system tolerance. When they're imbalanced, because we're eating foods that we shouldn't be eating, then the danger signals go off and our immune system stays on high alert. We need to increase blood. We need to make sure there's no pathogens. We need to check this and check that. And, if you've ever had a fire alarm go off and you don't know why and you're worried, is it really something serious this time? You know what you're like, right? Well, imagine that's going on inside your body as well. So this is how leaky gut, inflammation, and autoimmune diseases are all connected. They all have this underlying inflammation. They all have these underlying warning signs, waving the red flag, things like that. So here's how to know your gut is trying to teach your immune system, but is teaching it the wrong lessons. You have food sensitivities, and they seem to get worse and worse. Been there. You have constant gas and bloating. In a minute, I'll talk a little bit more about that. I never even realized I was bloated until I wasn't. Skin flare-ups or rashes. I've definitely had those multiple times. Fatigue after meals. Now, that could be a blood sugar thing as well, but a lot of times it can be just from your microbiome. And mood swings and anxiety can also be blood sugar related, but most of our neurotransmitters are created in the gut. And so it could be gut related. So these are all signs that our immune system is reacting to undigested information. Literally, it's not taking in the right information. So I never really had stomach issues, but when I was first diagnosed with Graves through testing, I found out that my gut was wrecked. Now I've done stool testing several times now. I don't know how many I've had now. People are like, "What? You poop in a bucket?" Well, I've also done Cologuard. So if you've ever done Cologuard or seen those commercials, it's the same thing. It looks at your microbiome. Cologuard looks at something different, but these other tests, they look at your microbiome. How balanced is it? Are things out of balance? Do you have high zonulin, meaning the fibers that hold the lining of your intestines, are they open so things can slip through, or are they tight junctions so the things that aren't supposed to get through? All those things are really great to see on a stool test. That's through functional medicine. I order them for my clients, and so you can probably find someone to help you too, or contact me and I will help you with that. Anyway, years of antibiotics. I had strep throat, I don't know how many times, strep throat and ear infections, those things, but years of infection, high stress. I have been stressed pretty much my whole life. Past traumas, how many childhood traumas have you had? Processed foods. I was eating a lot of processed foods and heating them in black plastic in the microwave. And so what was even if it was real food, how was it being delivered to me, right? All those things can destroy the microbiome. So I was reacting to everything, even quote unquote healthy foods. So once I started rebuilding my gut using fiber, using fermented foods, using prebiotic plant foods, then I was really able to transform and balance. As a matter of fact, my coach recently said I was the poster child for changing. She couldn't believe the difference between my gut tests, because now mine is everything's green, so everything is right where it's supposed to be. So it's definitely doable. You can reverse your illness. You can rebalance your microbiome as long as you do the work and commit, right? So like I said, I didn't even realize I was bloating. I thought that was normal. But once my bloating disappeared, my skin cleared up, my anxiety eased, and even my antibodies went down even further. So everything I've done has dropped my antibodies a little bit more and a little bit more, like that. And that can happen for you too. So I also realized we can't fix the immune system, but we can rebalance the microbiome and use the gut to retrain the immune system so that it's not constantly attacking us. So here's how to give your immune system the right lessons. Number one, feed your gut bacteria, the good ones. Feed the good bacteria. So we have good bacteria that's healthy. We want lots of that. So we want to increase that. We have pathogens, we want to decrease those, and then there's the commensals, and they can swing either way. They are easily influenced. And so we want to make sure that we're influencing them in a positive way. So my number two rule is always eat the rainbow. So feed your good bacteria by eating 30 plus different plants a week. Variety is wonderful for sending the right message to our microbiome. Now, you say 30, that sounds crazy, but I promise if you go into the produce section at your grocery store and start grabbing different things. So instead of eating the same lettuce every day or the same kale every day, what if you grab some different greens? Instead of just grabbing one bell pepper, grab a couple of different colors. And so we're increasing already without doing much. Instead of blueberries, get mixed berries. Get blueberries and raspberries and blackberries. There's three right there. And so look at different ways that you can increase. Beans, those are a plant. Nuts and seeds, those are plants. And so counting herbs, do you put oregano on things? Do you put basil? Increasing those herbs and spices, those are also plants. So start there in your grocery cart. If you're buying online, making sure that you're getting at least 30. And you can always increase that as well. Add fermented foods. Now, if you are reacting to histamines, this might be really difficult. You have to start really slow, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of sauerkraut juice or something like that, or a quarter teaspoon of a dairy-free yogurt. Once you can tolerate it, you slowly increase. Maybe you can't tolerate it because you don't have the right gut bugs. But as you start to increase, you grow those gut bugs. If you've ever planted a garden, those squash bugs are not out there right now. But I plant my garden, and if I'm not keeping everything in balance, all of a sudden squash bugs appear. They weren't there before. The same thing happens in our gut as well. What we need, and maybe even what we don't need if we're feeding the wrong foods, will appear based on what we're eating. So adding in sauerkraut, make your own, make sure it's raw and pasteurized if you buy it. Same with kimchi, same with yogurt. If you're buying store-bought yogurt, make sure it has live strains and it tells you what strains are in there. And once again, read the ingredients. They put a lot of crap in there because it's much faster to add something tart to the yogurt than actually ferment high-quality strains. So a good quality yogurt is going to be pretty expensive. It's super easy to make your own, and I have recipes on my YouTube. So if you can, work up to a half a cup at least once a day or more. If you can have a half a cup of yogurt for breakfast, half a cup of sauerkraut or kimchi or something later in the day, maybe a quarter cup at lunch and a quarter cup at dinner, that's even better. Remove what confuses the gut. So we hear about seed oils, heated seed oils specifically. So canola oil, things like that. Those are not good for you. A drizzle of a high quality cold pressed flax oil over something, not heating it, then that's a seed oil, but it's not an inflammatory seed oil. So you have to dig in there a little bit better. Gluten, absolutely. If you are an autoimmune patient, if you've been diagnosed with that, gluten, immediately out. Do not eat anything with gluten. Dairy. Now, dairy in most cases also needs to be removed as well. It looks a lot like the gluten proteins to your immune system, and so that creates more. And so I always tell my clients, remove the gluten, remove the dairy for at least 6 months. Once we've calmed things down, you can test the dairy and see if it's right for you. Remove sugar. We have to have blood sugar imbalance to reverse our immune system, to balance our immune system, and remove processed health foods. So many people are buying protein bars and things like that. That is a processed food. Support your digestion. That means chewing well. Chew at least 30 times. Every time you take a forkful or a spoonful, chew 30 times. Make it a liquid. Dr. Christopher always said, drink your solids and chew your liquids. So if it was a juice, he wanted you to swish it because we have enzymes in our mouth that start off our digestive process. And eat in a calm environment. Don't eat and multitask at the same time. Sleep and move daily. So making sure you're getting good quality sleep at night, making sure you're allowing yourself to have that time to wind down and to sleep, and then make sure you're moving throughout the day. These bodies are made to move. Even when you feel bad, do something to move your body because we have this lymphatic system that doesn't have a pump. We have to move. We have to contract muscles to get that lymphatic fluid to move. So doing things like adding a daily rainbow salad. Oh, you can get so many colors in there. Introducing small amounts of sauerkraut and working your way up, and focusing on balancing your blood sugar and staying well hydrated. I'm always double fisting with liquids here. You want to stay well hydrated, and that will help you to reverse illness as well. So if you've been fighting your immune system, maybe it's time to train it instead by doing these things. Inside the Culinary Healing Circle, that's my membership. That is what we do. We have classes where we have food demos and Q&As and open coaching and master classes every month, as well as Qigong and functional fitness. And so we learn how to focus on the microbiome, calming our body, calming inflammation as well. Our immune system is brilliant. We have to nourish it with the right foods, really train our immune system by giving it what it needs so that our body can relax, it can repair, and it can respond with wisdom. So get back to or learn how to cook. Cooking creates change. Share this with a friend that you know needs to focus on healing their gut, or they need to hear that all disease begins in the gut. That's something that I learned at the School of Natural Healing. Anyway, check out culinaryhealing.com, culinaryhealingcircle.com. I said the wrong thing. Check out culinaryhealingcircle.com. I hope you'll join me in my membership. I love meeting you. I love hearing from you. So comment, share, and let me know what else would help you on your